Welcome to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast with your host, Brandon Seigel. I'm a published author, speaker, entrepreneur, and private practice strategist dedicated to transforming the way that healthcare functions. This podcast is all about empowering you to create the change you want to see. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. In this quick tip episode, we're talking all about the benefits for a private practice to operate as an MSO. So I want to be clear. You can operate as an MSO, you can utilize an MSO, or you can just be your own private practice and not have an MSO. But I want you to embrace the idea of what if you created your own MSO? And so let's start with the idea. So an MSO, Management Services Organization, the idea is that we are tax IDing all of the functions that a private practice needs that are not clinical related. So it almost becomes the HR, staffing, medical billing, operations, marketing, everything. Basically, if I went to you and I said, you focus on clinical care, let me do everything else for you. That's the concept of this management services organization. And so some of the things to think about, I'm going to kind of give you the idea of like becoming one versus outsourcing to one, just so you get the idea of the differential. So from an ownership and control dynamic, when you become an MSO, you get to maintain complete ownership of your administrative infrastructure, technology platforms, vendor relationships, operational processes, ensuring long-term asset building and full decision-making authority over all business functions without external interference or approval requirements. And I want to be clear, you can become an MSO and then serve other practices. Now, if they're outsourcing to an MSO, they're now surrendering control over to you as the MSO related to key business operations. Potentially, it limits flexibility in that choice of vendor selection, technology, all those things. You lose out on the decision-making power because the MSO holds it. Now, if you own the MSO, that's a different thing. Another thing to think about when you become an MSO is you will be able to modify your services. You will be able to adjust pricing structures, changing vendors, pivoting your business decisions, and all these different things. It's going to allow you also to choose things at scale because now you're sharing administrative infrastructure throughout more practices. So I now average over 1 to 10 ratio because of the way that our MSO operates. So I can have one administrative person for 10 full-time practitioners in our practice because of the way the systems, strategies, and the way we utilize our administrative team. The other thing is because of the ability to scale, I'm able to hire top talent. So it sounds funny, but my medical billers can make more with me than they can with you. So as you become an MSO, you're going to be able to hire and retain top talent in a different way. When you're outsourcing to an MSO, the downside is you're kind of just turning the keys over to the castle. A lot of companies do this, but I'm just giving you that idea. The other thing is you can build a lot of valuable intellectual property and proprietary systems to help leverage expansion partnerships when you have and become your own MSO. Some of the things that you got to recognize, though, is there are financial implications and investment requirements. So when you become an MSO, sometimes it will require upfront capital investments, the technology infrastructure, the staffing, the legal formation, the system development, all of the headaches of that. It's its own business. You can generate additional revenue opportunities because you're providing management services to other independent practices. Therefore, you're creating profit centers through diversified income streams. But the other thing to think about is you can achieve greater economies of scale as an MSO. And so one of those things is, here's the bottom line. If I have 150 practices, my ability to leverage negotiation is going to be higher than if I had 5. So as an MSO, I can utilize all of these different practices that I control to leverage and really negotiate on behalf of my network for higher reimbursement rates. I can build greater tax advantages too through this MSO model. Other things to think about when you're an MSO is there are some operational complexity, some resource requirements. So becoming an MSO will require development of internal expertise in different areas that you might not know, different states, healthcare finance, compliance, HR, technology management. Necessary, ultimately you're going to be hiring more specialized personnel. And as you expand your MSO, you're going to have to be able to bring on more top talent. It also demands significant time investment. So, physician leaders who want this, you're going to have to do a lot of research in terms of initial setup, ongoing oversight, strategic decision making. Um, it reduces some of your time. You have to enjoy that business side of things. Um, you also have to be current on changing regulations because part of your MSO is going to be advising your clients that you support from a um, compliance standpoint. You want to make sure that you have full accountability for operational performance, financial results, and compliance outcomes as you become an MSO. And so, scalability, you're going to be able to build scalable infrastructure. You're going to be able to create a competitive advantage. You're going to be able to develop internal expertise and institutional knowledge that improves and becomes increasingly valued to others, and you're going to be able to position your practice for potential partnership opportunities. And so you just have to make sure you understand and assume full risk. You have to understand there's strategic flexibility to adapt to market changes, and you have to build long term sustainable competitive advantages. Ultimately, being able to do more with less is the way I look at it. So, foundational ownership and control strategies. We want to maintain 100% clinical autonomy and decision making. We want to preserve practice independence and culture. We want to establish perpetual ownership of the administrative infrastructure as an MSO. We want to create flexible governance structures, and we want to build some strategic asset protection mechanisms. It's really important that you understand the financial optimization and revenue enhancement strategies. So, we're going to generate substantial cost savings through economies of scale. We're going to develop additional revenue streams and profit centers by owning our own MSO. We're going to maximize our negotiating power with vendors and payers. We're going to optimize our tax efficiency and financial structure. And we're going to access sophisticated financial management expertise as a result of this approach. And so, ultimately, we're leading in a way where we want to optimize our operational excellence and our efficiency strategies. So, we're going to implement standardized best practices across all practice operations. We're going to leverage specialized expertise in complex healthcare functions. We're going to streamline our credentialing and privilege process. We're going to create comprehensive compliance and risk management programs, and we're going to establish robust IT infrastructure. So these are ways that we can contribute to the growth of our organization. And it also can help with long term strategic and succession planning. So we can create valuable business assets for our succession planning. We can develop next gen physician leadership. We can build financial reserves and invest in opportunities and establish legacy protection mechanisms, ultimately creating a competitive advantage and differentiation as healthcare continues to evolve. And so here are some things that I want you to keep in mind. Pros, as I said, enhanced operational efficiency, economies of scale, improved revenue cycle management, regulatory compliance support, access to capital and investment, streamlined HR, technology upgrades, risk mitigation. Cons: reduced practice autonomy, significant contractual commitments, fee structure burden, potential compliance risks, loss of direct vendor relationships, cultural and operational misalignment, financial transparency concerns, and dependency risks. Did you know that private practices partnering with management service organizations for growth achieved a 32% higher practice valuation within 2 years compared to those managing operations independently due to enhanced operational efficiency and rev cycle management? That was from the Coker Group's research in 2024. So, this is inspired by Michael Porter. Partnering with an MSO is like adding wings to your private practice, streamlining operations, soaring into efficiency, and unlocking boundless growth. Again, I'm giving you a lot of like whether you should use an MSO or not, but I also think you should consider becoming an MSO. So I hope this helps. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Growth Code Conference. The Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. Don't forget to check out our conference, Growth Code Conference. Don't forget to like us and subscribe. And most of all, connect with me because together we can thrive, not just survive. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Exciting news. We're now available everywhere, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to YouTube or anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. So watch, listen, and reach out. If you loved this episode, please drop a 5-star review. It truly means the world to me. Are you looking for more ways to elevate your practice? If so, now is your chance. Reach out, go to my website, or email me at brandon@wellnessworksmp.com. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.